So the final episode of Clash from the Elite Season 2 has aired, and to be honest, I'm kind of sad that this season is over, but I'm not too sad because, well, we already been knowing for a while now that Season 3 is already in production, so there is a Season 3 coming in the future, but for now, let's just talk about what happened in Clash from the Elite episode 13, the final episode of Season 2. We first start off with Ryuen pretty much reflecting as to what's been going on ever since he has lost to Ayanokoji. Obviously, this has affected him a lot, and this is very clearly his first time losing, so obviously he's still trying to process everything that has happened ever since that fight with Ayanokoji. However, there has been one person who has been trying to look for him and trying to find out what's he been up to, and that is Ibuki. Clearly Ibuki is trying to figure out what has happened to Ryuen because he's not his typical self, and obviously she is wanting to know what's he planning on doing in the future. However, as it turns out, Ryuen actually had plans of dropping out of the school. This angers Ibuki because in the past, Ryuen said that no matter how many times they lose, as long as they win at the end, that's all that matters. However, Ryuen said that that's all in the past now, and he has no intentions of being the leader of Class C, meaning that he's actually stepping down as class leader. But after hearing this, Ibuki gets angry once again and actually hits Ryuen, and Ryuen, because he's pretty much done with everything, doesn't even try to dodge the hit. In fact, he actually takes the hit and lands on the floor. This of course ends up in Ibuki just simply leaving, but it seems that someone was actually watching this whole thing go down, and that was Ayanokoji, and in his head he's saying how Ryuen is still useful and he has no intentions of letting Ryuen go. Then get the next scene of Kei being in her room, and it's very clear that she also is thinking of everything that has happened, and it's very clear that she's now having different opinions towards Ayanokoji because she clearly states in this scene that at first she didn't really see anything special in Ayanokoji. She always thought of him as just simply a loner who lacked social skills and was emotionless, but now everything that has happened, it's very clear that her opinion of him has clearly changed, and it's very clear that she's starting to have feelings for Ayanokoji. Even if she wants to deny and say that's not true, it's very clear just from how she's acting that she is slowly starting to have feelings for Ayanokoji. After the opening, we then get the next scene between Kei and Sato, in which Sato is telling Kei that she's actually going to have a date with Ayanokoji. Now, for those who are kind of confused as to why this is all happening, like where did this date come from? Well, there was actually a conversation between Sato and Ayanokoji in volume 7 before the whole fight with Ryuen, in which Sato was actually inviting Ayanokoji to hang out with her together, but Ayanokoji had to refuse because, well, he had to go save Kei from Ryuen. But he did tell her that in the winter break they could actually hang out as much as they can. There's the added context for those of you who are wondering how this date even happened to begin with. So yeah, as the scene goes, Sato is telling Kei what she should do on this date. Now obviously Kei has no idea because not even Kei has actually gone on a real date before. Remember, Hirata and Kei's relationship is all fake. The only reason why they started a relationship, or they pretend to have a relationship to begin with, was because, well, Kei wanted to be protected by Hirata, but Sato doesn't know that, so she actually thinks that Hirata and Kei's relationship is real when it's not. So Sato is asking Kei for help, and it's very clear that Kei is not a huge fan of this. Well, because first of all, she has no idea how dates are supposed to go because, once again, she's never been on an actual date before. And two, she's slowly starting to have feelings for Kiyotaka, so obviously she's not a huge fan of another girl having a date with Ayanokoji. But because she's friends with Sato, she is going to help her no matter what. Later that day, as Kei is in her room once again, she's lying on her bed wondering about this whole date thing with Sato and Ayanokoji, and her phone rings, revealing that Ayanokoji is actually calling her. Kei quickly grabs the phone and answers very quickly, to which Ayanokoji asks her to do something for him. When Kei asks what, Ayanokoji asks her to look into Sato. What's her hobbies, what does she like, what doesn't she like, what's her routine, stuff like that. Obviously this shocks Kei because he wasn't expecting Ayanokoji to ask her for that information. And when Kei tells Ayanokoji that she probably won't have a lot of information regarding Sato, Ayanokoji doesn't care and tells her to just send the information on email and quickly hangs up. We then get the next scene, in which is Ayanokoji talking to Horikita, to which Horikita is surprised that Ayanokoji called her to meet, since she is only called by him when there's an upcoming special exam or when they're talking about special exams. But Ayanokoji gets straight to the point, saying that there's a certain someone that wants her to be in the student council. Horikita is confused, and Ayanokoji tells tells her that it's Manabu. Manabu wants her to be in the student council, to which shocks Horikita, but of course she is kind of suspicious that this may not be true. But Ayanokoji gives her his phone, in which is clearly the contact of Manabu, and Horikita decides to call him, to which it's very clear from the conversation they're having that Manabu does confirm that he does want Horikita to be in the student council. But despite the confirmation, Horikita still doesn't really want to join the student council because according to her, there's not really a benefit in joining the student council, to which Ayanokoji just simply responds saying that she doesn't need to make a decision right now and she could take her time in making her decision. After this conversation with Horikita, it seems that Ayanokoji is actually having plans on talking with someone else, and this is Ryuen. Ryuen asks Ayanokoji why he called him, to which Ayanokoji responds saying that he just wants to have a chat with Ryuen, and this leads to the conversation between Ryuen and Ayanokoji, to which Ryuen is kind of confused as to why Ayanokoji stopped him from dropping out of the school. But of course Ayanokoji acts all confused, but Ryuen is not dumb, and which is very clear for Ryuen that Ayanokoji is planning something. Of course Ayanokoji acts like he has no plan whatsoever, but that's when Ryuen says how Ayanokoji is clearly going to use him in order for him to get up the ranks of the school, which Ayanokoji says no, he doesn't really care about going to class A, which surprises Ryuen, but asks Ayanokoji what's his actual goal here. Ayanokoji says how he's planning on improving class D, but he doesn't want to get involved into too many things. However, Ayanokoji goes on saying how the class D can't improve because there's a certain person in that class that's causing an issue, and Ryuen is very quick to know who Ayanokoji is talking about, and that is Kushida. It's very clear that Kushida is a problem in class D, and Ayanokoji is trying to do something about it. And Ayanokoji reveals that he's planning on expelling Kushida. And Ryuen's reaction to all this seems to be mostly impressed, and he's actually looking forward to see what's going to happen in the upcoming future. The very next day, it seems that Ayanokoji is going to his date with Sato, but it seems that they're not alone. It seems that there's another group that is going to be joining them, and that is Kei and Hirata. Ayanokoji asks Hirata and Kei if they're going on a date, to which Hirata says yes, and that's when Kei gets the idea of going on a double date. Hirata is surprised by this idea, and first he doesn't really seem to be a fan of it, as he states how this could affect Ayanokoji and Sato's date, but Sato doesn't really mind. And when Ayanokoji is asked, he also states that's not really an issue. So we then get a montage of their double date, and it's very clear that everyone's having a fun time, minus Ayanokoji. Well, we don't really know how he's actually feeling because he's always having the same face, so we don't really know how he's actually feeling towards this date. After the double date, it seems that Sato and Ayanokoji are heading home, and that's when Sato asks Ayanokoji if he did not have fun with the date. Ayanokoji is confused and asks no, that he did have fun, but Sato says how he never smiled throughout the entire date. Ayanokoji says how he's not really the smiling type, but in his mind he's saying something differently. He's saying how it's not that he can't smile, it's just because he doesn't see Sato as worthy of seeing him smile, pretty much confirming that Ayanokoji doesn't have anything going on with Sato, and it's very clear that he sees Sato as unworthy. Of course, this leads to Sato deciding to confess to Ayanokoji, but Ayanokoji is very quick to reject the confession. And when Sato asks Ayanokoji why, Ayanokoji simply says is how he doesn't really have any feelings towards her. Of course, this made Sato sad to the verge of tears, but Ayanokoji says how he's not really looking for romance right now, and it seems like he's not really interested in finding someone to be with for the moment. Of course, Sato, pretty much heartbroken, decides to run away towards her house, to which Ayanokoji doesn't really have a reaction, but he tells Kei to come out from her hiding spot because he was very quick to know that Kei was watching this entire thing. Kei leaves her hiding place and decides to talk with Ayanokoji once again. And this is where Kei asks Ayanokoji why he turned down Sato, to which Ayanokoji responds saying because Sato can never replace her. Of course, this makes Kei blush, but this is where Kei asks another question towards Ayanokoji, and she asks him if does he really view people as nothing but tools, to which Ayanokoji responds saying is there a problem if he does, which surprises Kei, and Kei asks one more time if he really has nobody he actually has an affection for, to which Ayanokoji says no. And this is where Kei decides to give him a present because she states how it seems that he's the type of person that's never gotten a present before, so she decides to give him a present. And in return, Ayanokoji gives her something as well because he thought that Kei would get sick from all that water being thrown at her, so he decided to buy her cold medicine. And even though it was just cold medicine, Kei seems to be happy about it because in her thoughts she's saying that she's glad that Ayanokoji was worried about her, and that makes her very happy. And this is when Ayanokoji tells Kei that they should probably head home for now. And when they're walking, Ayanokoji reveals his true plan all along, that the only reason why he helped Kei was because he wanted Kei to depend on him, meaning he wanted Kei to just pretty much trust him overall. And it's very clear because of her loyalty towards him that she is not going to betray him that easily. Of course, Ayanokoji doesn't really realize that that's probably not why he decided to help Kei. It's very clear that Ayanokoji is having mixed feelings now that he's interacting with a lot of people. But of course, for him right now, this just was all part of the plan. And you would think this is going to be the last scene for this episode, but in reality, we actually get some credit scenes in which we see that Kei says goodbye to Ayanokoji after they decide to part ways. And when Ayanokoji seems to be heading towards his house, that's when somebody else decides to talk to Ayanokoji, and that is Saki and Nagi. Now, they kind of did make the whole scene from volume 5 a bit different, and I'm kind of glad they added this scene because there were so many people who were complaining how they cut this scene entirely. Granted, it is different, and I know there's still going to be some people complaining, but at least they added this scene between Saki and Nagi confronting Ayanokoji. And of course, in this scene, we get to find out that Saki and Nagi does know that Ayanokoji belongs in the White Room, and she says how her intentions are to bury him and completely defeat him. To which Ayanokoji responds saying, can she really defeat him? And thus ends the episode just like that, confirming that season 3 is on its way. Overall, great episode to end season 2. They left it as a cliffhanger, which is something that I predicted in past videos. I predicted how they were going to leave it with a cliffhanger because this will get people to be hyped for season 3. And overall, I enjoyed this episode. This was actually covering volume 7.5, which I'm glad they adapted because there's a lot of things that happen in this volume that were going to be important for the future events to happen. And I was worried that they were going to cut it completely because, of course, the half volumes are kind of short stories or like the slice of life of Class of the Elite. So I was a bit worried that they were just going to not adapt those volumes. But thankfully, they did adapt volume 7.5. And overall, I enjoyed this season. I enjoyed every last minute of it. Granted, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect season. There was a few issues with it, but overall I enjoyed watching this week by week. I enjoyed making content week by week about the episodes, and as a person who has read the light novels, I think they did a good job adapting the source material. Obviously, they did change a few things, and once again, they did cut some content from the light novels, but I still think they did a good job adapting the source material into season 2. And I'm still grateful that we even got a season 2 because a lot of people were wanting a season 2 for this series, myself included. After reading the light novels, I wanted a season 2 for this series, and I can't wait for season 3. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that just because season 2 has ended doesn't mean I'm not going to keep making Class of the Elite content. In the future, I am going to keep making videos talking about Class of the Elite, so look forward to that. And yeah, that's pretty much the entire video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.